Back to our daily segment of Michelle Obama's terrible, terrible life. Boo effing who. She went on a podcast called Diary of a CEO. It's kind of rings a bell like a founder kind of situation. And once again, wants you to know how awful it is to be married with.
Michelle Obama just faced some tough criticism, and the ones leading it are Megyn Kelly and Patrick Bet-David. This isn't a polite debate, it's more like a harsh roast. They're calling out everything from her time as First Lady to how the media portrays her. If you thought her image couldn't be challenged, think again. You might want to grab some popcorn and maybe a helmet, because this takedown is intense, even making political experts nervous. Let's dive in.
Obama slammed for whining about costs in the White House. Okay, I don't know if you guys have seen this or not. This is her speaking with, is this the Diaries of a CEO, right? So Rob, if you can play this clip. This is her talking about how expensive it was to live in the...
Megyn Kelly didn't just join the conversation, she came in strong, ready to cut through the polished image of America's favorite former First Lady. Forget the soft lighting and smooth Spotify playlists. Megyn showed up with a sharp memory and no patience for the fairy tale version of political fame. Her target? The carefully crafted image of Michelle Obama.
Many natural reasons why marriage, infertility, trying to have kids makes things difficult. It's like I try to tell couples, of course it's hard. Guess what happens when it all works out right? You know what you end up with? Babies. Little people with their own sense of everything. They mess you up. You love them dearly, but they're a hassle.
What? I mean, there's something wrong with this person. Like, she's seriously depressed. She has the most negative, dark outlook on life I've ever heard from a public.
When Megyn looks at Michelle's polished image, she doesn't see someone relatable. She sees a Disney princess in a power suit. Michelle says she doesn't like politics, but she's signing Netflix deals and speaking at every big event. Megyn can't hide her disbelief, especially when Michelle acts like she'd rather be doing laundry than leading a media empire.
It's expensive to live in the White House.
Yeah.
As many people don't know. Sure. I mean, much is not covered. You're paying for every food, every bit of food that you eat. You're not paying for housing and the staff in it, but everything, even travel. If you're not traveling with the president, if your kids are coming on a Bright Star, which is the First Lady's plane, we had to pay for their travel to be on the...
Megyn has a sharp memory, and she hasn't forgotten when Michelle said she was proud of America for the first time. While the media treats that moment like a classic, Megyn sees it as a problem. She watches Michelle promoting high-end activism, dressed in designer clothes, acting like she's still struggling, all while earning big money for motivational speeches. And Megyn's not convinced.
What are you thinking when you're giving this message? Like, what are you thinking in your mind? Because let's do data. Rob, can you type in Obama's net worth in 2007? What was Obama in 2007? 1.2 million, 1.3 million. Okay, so their net worth is, let's write this down. This is pre-White House. Their collective net worth was 1.3 million. Can you go to where their net worth was in 2016 when they're done being presidents? Okay, 2016. So their net worth, as expensive as it was, they went from being 1.3 million to 12.2 million. So that's 10xing your net worth in 8 years. And that's
what really gets to Megyn is the way Michelle Obama presents herself. Michelle says she never wanted to be famous, yet she's built a brand so polished it makes Martha Stewart look low-key. She claims to avoid the spotlight, but her media presence is huge and carefully managed. If she doesn't like fame, she's not doing a great job hiding it. Then there's the victimhood tour. As Megyn sees it, Michelle often talks about her struggles, not that hardship isn't real, but usually it doesn't come with a personal stylist, a best-selling book, and a massive platform. Megyn finds it ironic that someone who says they've been mistreated is also featured on every major magazine cover. To her, it feels less like an honest story and more like a carefully crafted brand. Every emotional moment is followed by a business move, every tear becomes a trailer, and every real story looks rehearsed. Megyn doesn't see authenticity, she sees a performance aimed at winning awards, not hearts.
Dark outlook on life I've ever heard from a public figure, certainly one who's been given so much. Okay, her window into motherhood and having a child, the first thing she says, they mess you up. They mess you up. Maybe that's what happened to her. Maybe she was totally delightful before the 2 daughters came along. I don't know. She clearly is not enjoying motherhood and enjoying being in a marriage. Even less. It's not you if things get hard. It's all hard. It's all hard. This is so bad.
Meanwhile, Patrick Bet-David isn't even trying to hide his skepticism. While Megyn uses sarcasm, Patrick breaks it down like a strategy chart. He sees Michelle Obama not just as a former first lady, but as a well-positioned political player, hiding in plain sight. To him, everything is too perfectly timed. The podcasts, the speeches, the documentaries all rolled out like part of a careful plan. Michelle makes headlines, touches hearts, then disappears just long enough to stay mysterious and trending. Patrick doesn't believe it's accidental. He sees it as a quiet launch of a political brand, all while acting like she's just writing about vegetables in her journal. He also doesn't buy the "I'm just like you" message. The only thing Michelle shares with everyday people, he jokes, is oxygen. Patrick finds it laughable when she talks about her humble beginnings, especially from the backseat of a chauffeured SUV on the way to a 5-star resort. Her South Side roots may be real, but her life now looks more Monaco than middle class.
Worth today, 2025. What is the net worth
It's got to
today?
be worth a couple $100 million. No?
It's 2 numbers. You see
There's
70
70
million to 250 million dollars. So 70 million to 250 million dollars. If you type in a couple other places, you'll see 100 million. You'll see 70 million. But you'll see a couple ranges. But let's just stick to the 70 million dollars. Pre-presidency, 1.7. So expensive being at the White House. It was so expensive that our net worth went from 1.3 million to 12.2 million 8 years later. What an expensive.
2. Patrick. Michelle Obama's most impressive act isn't being First Lady, it's convincing millions she doesn't want power. All while quietly redefining what influence looks like. While people focus on her outfits and fitness routines, she's working behind the scenes, spreading her image through culture, education, and entertainment. And the media just keeps applauding without question. Then there's the 2024 theory. Patrick, always the strategist, sees it like a well-planned heist. Michelle doesn't have to announce anything, she's already in the headlines. The conversations, the rumors about the next big political move. By the time she runs, it'll feel like she never left, because she hasn't. She's been subtly guiding the cultural narrative all along. Patrick watches her brand grow like it's a masterclass in marketing, Michelle tearing up at just the right time. Hugging young people, wearing casual sneakers in perfectly lit interviews saying, "I'm not like the other elites." She's one of the few people who could read from a cereal box and turn it into a national debate about values.
Needs an intervention. She needs our help. Okay, and that's not all. She can't make fun of herself. This has been obvious for years. She's incapable of laughing at her own expense, which is an absolutely dreadful quality in a person. Like, I don't think I could hire a person who works for me who doesn't have.
And then there's the messaging pipeline. Patrick raises an eyebrow, or both, when Michelle starts appearing in schools, kids shows, and animated specials about empowerment. To him, it's not just entertainment. It's a smart way to shape young minds. She says she's just trying to inspire, but Patrick sees it as a clever way to plant political ideas early, like sneaking spinach into brownies. While Megyn calls out what she sees as hypocrisy, Patrick sees a long-term strategy. They're coming from different angles, Megyn through media criticism, Patrick through a power lens, but they're reaching the same conclusion. Michelle Obama isn't just the kind, relatable figure she appears to be. She's a powerhouse, with a plan, wrapped in feel-good messaging. And most people aren't reading the fine print. Neither of them buys into the media's glowing coverage. Megyn laughs at how Michelle's praised like she invented reading in Christmas. Patrick points to the double standard. If you criticize Michelle, you're labeled a villain. If you praise her, you get invited to elite events. The way Michelle is protected, Patrick says, makes the Secret Service look like amateurs.
You're a very good communicator. Very. You were very good on stage. One of the best. You know how to rally. You actually do. Barack used to say, if I ever needed to win an election, I put Michelle on stage. I've heard that many times. Who are you inspiring with that message you're giving? Think about another younger African-American girl that's listening to this. Do you think you inspired her to want to be a first lady? What do you think you did? Do you think that motivates another girl that's watching this saying, I want to grow up to be like Michelle Obama, my hero? Oh, let me hear to see what she has to say about being a first lady. I bet she says it was the greatest honor. oh no, in the back of her mind, she wishes he wouldn't have won because it was so.
What really frustrates both Megyn and Patrick is how Michelle Obama seems to avoid all accountability. She's treated with constant praise, surrounded by emotion and admiration. Every move is seen as either brilliant or brave, and any silence is treated as wise. But if someone dares to criticize her, it's seen as an attack on all that is good, like reviewing a Broadway play and getting scolded for offending the stage. Megyn has no patience for that. She believes that if Michelle wants to be part of big public conversations, she should expect real criticism, not just applause and carefully staged moments of vulnerability. Crying in a memoir, Megyn argues, doesn't shield you from tough, political questions. Patrick, on the other hand, watches it like a chess game. He sees Michelle making powerful moves, gaining influence, shaping culture while acting like she's just hosting a bake sale. He recognizes serious branding when he sees it, and in his eyes, Michelle's image is armored with feel-good quotes and emotional appeal. Together, Megyn and Patrick form a kind of critical duo. Megyn challenges the emotional story, while Patrick breaks down the strategy. And between the two of them, they're ripping through Michelle's public image, like it's fancy wrapping on something far more powerful underneath.
Leads me to Michelle Obama. You're back, and she's given us a whole new realm of comments. Glenn, we saved them just for you because she's still...
I told your staff I only started watching this podcast religiously because of the times I've been on your show and you've talked about it by yourself or with me. So I'm very ready to talk Michelle Obama.
Oh, good. She's still just as bitter as ever. There's such a great new, spin of complete.
No one is denying that Michelle Obama is smart, graceful, and media savvy, but Megyn and Patrick are calling for something the media seems afraid to ask for: real scrutiny. Not because they want her to fail, but because her influence is huge, far-reaching, and mostly unchecked, and that's risky if no one questions it. At first, it seems like Megyn and Patrick are coming from different worlds. Megyn focused on media spin, Patrick focused on power moves. But now, they're in the same place, both taking aim at the carefully protected Michelle Obama image. And when two people who probably can't even agree on how to make coffee look at the same public figure and say, "That's a little too perfect," it says something. Let's talk about the image. Michelle Obama's brand isn't just managed, it's vacuum-sealed, shrink-wrapped, and hand-delivered with Oprah's blessing. Megyn sees it like a branding crime scene. The issue isn't just polish, it's perfection that feels fake. This is a woman who can go from Harvard Law to Dancing with Jimmy Fallon without ever stirring up controversy. Megyn's not buying it. To her, it's not authenticity, it's marketing. An inspirational Barbie with a Netflix deal.
And I kind of want to go through this, Michelle Obama's podcast. And her and her brother, they started a podcast. They look like twins. If you want to, no, I'm actually not being sarcastic.
Yeah, well, if she
Rob, what is this, Rob?
Where's her This brother? Is the announcement of the podcast.
Okay, play the clip. Maybe this will help out a little bit with subscribership. Go ahead and play the clip.
Hey, TikTok, it's Michelle Obama, and I'm here with my big brother, Craig.
Hey, everybody.
We're here because we're excited to announce the launch of our new podcast called
Meanwhile, Patrick Bet-David is off to the side like a mix of political analyst and conspiracy expert, flipping through slides and saying, it's all part of the plan. To him, Michelle Obama's image isn't about personality, it's a strategy. He sees a carefully mapped path, not random charm. He believes everything she does is part of a long-term plan, executed as precisely as a big corporate deal. The more Michelle insists she doesn't want political power, the more skeptical Patrick gets. Why? Because nothing says I'm not, running like perfectly timed book releases and emotional documentaries that remind people how historic, misunderstood, and presidential she already seems. Then comes the part where Megyn and Patrick truly unite media protection. At this point, it's like they're singing a sarcastic Disney duet. They believe the press doesn't just support Michelle, they treat her like a rare, royal figure, who must never be criticized. Megyn's side-eye practically slices through glowing headlines. She argues the media isn't just biased, it's become Michelle's unofficial PR team. To her, it's ironic. The same press that claims to value accountability suddenly goes silent when Michelle enters the room, radiating her signature confidence, especially in those famously admired arms.
From her most recent episode, which still on YouTube, she's got like 200,000 subscribers. It's really amazing that now she's been doing this for how many episodes? She's been literally on every podcast of the left wing promoting it. And that's still all she's managed to get. Here she is interviewing Dr. Sharon Malone, perhaps better known as former Attorney General Eric Holder's wife. And therein lies the problem, as these two ladies, married to two very famous men, are pissed that they are not the alpha in terms of popularity and recognition in their marriage.
Patrick doesn't just see that Michelle Obama is protected by the media, he thinks it goes even deeper. To him, she's not protected because she's just popular, but because she's useful. She's a powerful tool, politically, culturally, and commercially. The media treats her like a long-term investment. She's not just a former First Lady, she's the backup plan, the break glass in case of emergency, candidate for the Democratic Party. Her name always comes up in political what-if conversations. Like she's the party's Beyoncé-level secret weapon. And everything around her image runs so smoothly, Patrick doubts it's coincidence. Then comes what he sees as the real purpose. This isn't just about being a role model or promoting healthy lunches. This is about shaping culture quietly, without drawing suspicion. Both Megyn and Patrick believe Michelle's public persona is like a Trojan horse wrapped in positivity, tied with a bow of progress. She's everywhere and nowhere at the same time. Political but not a politician. Powerful but always playing, reluctant, and to them, it's genius, maybe even diabolically so. The surprising part, they don't hate her, it's not personal. What bothers them is that no one is allowed to question her without being instantly labeled a hater, a troll, or worst of all, in today's climate, a conservative.
You got roughly 100 million followers. Imagine having 100 million followers and you sold your book and it was record-breaking a few years ago when she sold her book. I don't know what the number was. How many copies did Michelle Obama's book sell? I don't know what the number is, but I heard it was record-breaking. Okay, 17 million copies was sold worldwide in 2018. That's when they were really, their reputation, 17 million copies. Everybody's like, oh my God, they made so much money. I don't know how much money was made. I think the number was like 36 million. How much did she get paid for it, for the books? I don't know. $65 million was paid.
Because she's supposed to be the star, Glenn. Michelle Obama. This dovetails perfectly with so many other comments she's made about how she is, look, what about me? What about me? What did those 8 years in the White House do to my soul? And why isn't anyone asking? They shouldn't have to be told to ask about how I'm.
That's the Michelle Obama dilemma. She can influence elections, shape cultural trends, and sit at the top of Hollywood. But then act surprised when people question her power, asking, why is everyone being so mean to me? That's where Megyn and Patrick make their final point. If you want influence, take it, but you can't enjoy the spotlight and then play the victim when someone asks what you're doing with it. You can't build a massive brand focused on global impact and then hide behind, I'm just sharing my story whenever things get uncomfortable. Inspiration is great, but when inspiration turns into immunity from criticism, democracy is what suffers. And that's where the curtain drops. For now. Because if Michelle truly doesn't want political power, why does everything she does look like a campaign? Why does every appearance become a major event? Why does her silence speak louder than most people's words? She says she wants to be left alone, but then releases another Netflix series about how misunderstood she is. Megyn calls it out with sarcasm and sharp observation. Patrick maps it out like a military strategist, and together, they're exposing how mythologized Michelle has become, to the point that criticizing her feels almost forbidden. They're not hating her. They're just refusing to cheer for a show when the illusions take center stage. Michelle can keep smiling, keep inspiring, and keep quietly shaping the future through charm and careful image control. But Megyn will keep raising her eyebrow, Patrick will keep drawing his diagrams, and both will keep reminding us not to confuse polished branding with truth.